How's it going? So I lost like 5 in a row because I was doing experiments and I was just going into cube without researching your teammates. So I kind of was finished with my experiments. But long story short, I won again because I just pre-selected my teammates. The usual ding dong, you scout your teammates, you play well, you win the game. It's that simple. So look, here's my team. Like this is the bottom team. And here is their team. They had one Smurf, so this was Smurf versus Smurf, me versus this guy. But Tristana is very hard to deal with as Tryndamere. However, I looked at my team and I said, okay, we can probably win this. Because first of all, this is a noob champ. He can CC her, right? This is kind of a noob champ. And Amumu is a noob champ. And their statistics are good. I looked at the enemy team. Okay, Lee Sin is not a problem for Tryndamere, but I thought, okay, my team is probably going to stop. I was surprised they didn't perform as well, but the champions again carried, right? So Tristana were not able to do her bullshit. So look, you see, this is the outcome of the game. You see, their jungler again. Feeder, he doesn't know what he's doing. He picked Lee Sin, which is a very difficult to play champion. He has 17% win rate on his account. Barely wins ever. He doesn't know how to win. Okay. This champion is complete dog shit because it's like Heimerdinger, where it allows the enemy. It's just like, is the enemy team dumb enough to run into Alawi and just die? If so, this champion is fantastic. So this champion is fantastic to play against feeders. Every time you win with this champion, you can say, Riot, thank you for granting me 5 feeders on the enemy team, because my champion is dysfunctional without it. This champ is just dog shit, right? So Lux was versus me. I mean, that's not a really a matchup that she can play, because if you take cleanse, Lux is unplayable to Tryndamere if he has ability to cleanse her stuns. And then Nami is a very bad champion. I mean, if you have enough move speed, she simply cannot land her bubble. And so she only relies on ult. And ult, you can kind of, with enough move speed, again, you can predict where she's going to do it, and you can just dodge it, right? So Tristana was the only champ that was difficult. But again, look, you see, this champ is a noob champ. He done almost the same amount of damage as me. Even though, like, it's just press a button, become effective. Same with Amumu, press a button, become effective. Same with Morgana, press a button, become effective. Do you understand, like, how champions are so effective? Even if a person who's playing them is somewhat not super good, the champs are going to carry. So I'm just saying that, League of Carry, as usual, 100% works. Scout your teammates, make sure the champions are good. So now the question arises is, if I have Janna on my team, well, let's have a situation like this. You're looking at the enemy, and they have Nautilus. You look at Janna, and you say to yourself, holy shit. Janna has good win rate, 75% win rate. But is Janna more effective than Nautilus? No. Even though Janna player is good, you should still favor Nautilus as being superior. Do you understand? So the question is, is skill enough to compensate for the champion? And the answer at the moment is no. When you play casual, when you're a part-timer, champion always wins. That's it. Right, so if the guy has 89% win rate on Janna and the enemy picked Nautilus, your ADC has 90% win rate on Severe, which is not a very good ADC, and the enemy team has Nautilus and, let's say, Draven, they are probably going to feed. Most likely. Your team. right? Even though they have good statistics. Nautilus Leona with Draven and some bullshit like Jinx and Twitch, man, it's just not a playable thing. It's just not a playable matchup. Think about Katarina versus Tryndamere. Katarina with 90% win rate versus 60% or whatever, 53% win rate Tryndamere. Tryndamere is going to stomp her because Tryndamere is Omega counter to Katarina. Omega. She can't kill him. Right? You can try to outplay him with your daggers, but the problem is he's going to catch up to you eventually. Like Katarina needs skills to be functionable, and she can't kill Tryndamere. And Tryndamere has infinite sustain in the lane, so she has no way to actually get fed to win the game. And then if Tryndamere is good, he's going to follow her when she roams, and then that's it. The game is over for her. And the problem is nothing to do. Katarina is a better player, right? But because of the champion difference, Tryndamere just wins, and that's it. So when you're looking at your teammates, like you always have to scout your teammates and look. Okay, champion is superior. So think about priority. Champion is number one. Their KDA and their statistics are number two. That's it. So that's how you analyze teams, and you get like games like now. This was a tough game. I have to say, even though we got all the dragons, we got everything, but it was still a tough game because Tristana is a noob champ. Like she's a very very good champion. Actually, I keep talking about ADCs and I keep forgetting about Tristana because she's a noob champ. Tristana is a noob champion. She's very very good ADC. Because as she gets to late game, man, that range is insane. And she is a self-peeling ADC. She does not need Alistair to peel. Think about it. She has resets on her jump, so she can jump away. And she can ult you away. And she can also slow people. Like, this champ is amazing. Amazing champion. And you can see that in performance. And it's hard to say whether this guy was actually a smurf or not. I'm assuming by his KDA he was. But again, because the champion is absolutely busted, the performance is fantastic. Fantastic. Again, see what I'm saying is that this champ here. Press a button and that's it, you're useful. Okay? So, what I'm saying is, bottom line, what I'm saying is, League of Legends is full of children, okay, full of kids, and they're going to tell you stuff that makes no sense. And if it's repeated multiple times, you're gonna start kind of believing it. That is the flaw of humans. If you repeat a lie a lot of the times to a human, he is going to start believing in it, and that is a problem. So you need to learn how to filter that shit out. So for example, when I was playing World of Warcraft, they were telling me that, oh, it's not about the gear, it's about the player. And then I started looking at the guys that were like telling me that they were good, and all of them had superior gear. And at that point I realized, nah, it's just the community is full of people that just believe in nonsense, you know? So this is like the same shit. It's like people tell you, oh no, it doesn't matter, like the champion doesn't matter. You can win with Soraka if you're like, Faker can take Soraka and just win in bronze against a fully stacked team like Gragas and all that shit. No, he can't. He cannot. If Faker plays me one-on-one with Katarina in Aram, I'm going to massacre him. Massacre. And I played against extremely good players, and they did pick Katarina, and they can't play because it's an unplayable matchup. So it's all about the champions. Remember, it's all about the champions. Okay? And naturally, we're talking about the League of Carries, so make sure your teammates are good. So they need to have good champs and good statistics. You cannot take any risks. So right now, do not take any risks. If you have a shit, because you have to remember, it takes one player to screw up your entire game. So if that player exists on your team, we're talking about like 9% win rate Zed, who averages like 10 deaths per game, do not play. Do not play. Unless the enemy is Omega shit. I'm talking about like Nami, Senna, Lux, Severe, and Shaco. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at their enemy team, and your team is like Nautilus, Draven, Tryndamere mid, jungle, some bullshit will be like complete Amumu, right? And your top lane is like Garen with 17% win rate, right? Now you can play. Because Garen is Garen, okay? And your team is stacked. And their team is completely useless. And you can win. You can win 4v5. Basically, the only way you can play is if you ask yourself, okay, if we legitimately do not even have a top laner or whatever, one player is legitimately not even in the game. And it must not be a jungler. Jungler is very, very important. And it must not be in it. Basically, the only matchups is the top lane. You can get away with 4v5 because top lane doesn't matter, honestly, in this game. It's like, it's useful, but realistically, the mid lane is the most important role. It's the controlling role of the game. And bot lane. Like, bot lane is also extremely important. Like, the 4 core components is the good jungler, because he's going to control objective, good mid laner, and then a decent bot lane, because if you have good jungler and mid laner, normally bot lane does well. Because you can see in here, like, even though these guys just kept dying, we got all the dragons, right? And eventually, the laning phase was finished, and then Tristana was in deep shite. Because there was only limited opportunities where she could go. Because she can run the risk of running into these 2 guys, and Tryndamere running out of the bush and just massacring her. And again, that's because of the champions, alright? Okie dokes, so that's my rant for today. League of Carry is working. Do not play this game without dodging, okay? Take care, bye bye.